Hey guys, we're in a beautiful neighborhood in Corona Del Mar near Newport Beach. I'm here with my buddy Mark and we're checking out the Gocycle. This is the G4i and it's a beautiful bike. I mean, the thing comes in 3 different colors. There's this like dark gray, we got matte black here, which is really this section of frame, and they also have white, which is cool. I've reviewed this a number of times over the years. They do tend to be fairly expensive. Richard Thorpe, the guy who created this, it's his company. The guy worked at McLaren and he's got this attention to detail. This is the only like bike that they make. It's not the kind of company where they have a cargo bike and a mountain bike or anything.
So they've actually changed their folding mechanism entirely. So when they went to the GX model,
yep,
that's where they changed the folding to, you know, wheels on. You don't need to remove the wheels, which was one of the bummers with the GS, right? You had to remove the wheels to fold.
A little dirtier, because like if you look at they kind of had this like pit stop quick release system, and there were like levers or something.
There was like these cam levers, and they always had to be in the perfect position, and you know, customers would just find it difficult to fold. And
Mark's gonna fold the bike because we're gonna take it to a nicer riding location, and it's just pretty quick and easy. You want to go through the steps, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. So you just got one little latch here. The nice thing about it is you have this retention system right here. So bike folds over like this.
And we made sure the pedal is in the down position because otherwise you can kind of bang into it with this upper portion of the frame.
Then one more knob. This folds down nicely, and then this little retention system actually just comes over to here.
So cool. And I love how these joints here, it's not like it's just flopping around. Like in both cases, it's kind of connected.
Correct.
And then Mark, look at that. So he's tipped it up and he can walk it around without lifting it, because this thing is 38 pounds roughly. We weighed it a minute ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's still a little heavy. We could even, if we wanted to make it really slim, we could take off this pedal. There's like a quick release. Yep. We could lower the saddle height if we really wanted to. Keep in mind that you can really only push this thing. If you try to pull it, the crank arms start to turn, and there you go. You can see it. Look at that. It sits right there. I love it. I mean, this thing is just so well engineered. And what I was talking about with the pulling is that, like, if you start to pull it back, watch that crank arm, see? And then it hits the frame.
Yeah,
so you
back pedals, definitely.
You kind of have to push it, but it's pretty stable with like the 2 tires right there, especially with these new wider tires. Thank you so much, Mark. So it's cool to see the battery off of the bike like this. 36 volt, 372.6 watt hours. So it's definitely a higher voltage than before, and being able to take this out means you can store it in a cool, dry location. You can reduce the weight of the bike. I mean, it's nice to have that. The charging port is right here. This does not lock to the frame. There's no key or anything, so keep that in mind. If for some reason you're locking this at a bike rack, if someone could unfold the bike and steal the battery, that'd be a bummer. Will you show me kind of mount that, Mark? Oh, and at this end, it's, you know, they've got a little 4 LED,
yeah, a little battery indicator. So this goes in like this, like that, and then you're just gonna twist this guy to lock it in. It's a cam system, so it locks in like that. This guy goes like that.
And from this angle, you can see this is aluminum alloy 6061 T6. You can see the weave on the carbon fiber, this section of the body. Cast magnesium for the chainstay. It's kind of that clean drive system. And then the fork is also carbon fiber, so it's lightweight. It has a little bit of vibration dampening, but it's pretty thick, and really they're just, I think it's probably a weight thing, especially considering that they've upgraded the motor power. And then the rims are also cast magnesium. This is also a good angle to see the brakes. So they're hydraulic, 140 millimeter rotor, which is a unique size. Usually I'm just seeing like 160, 180, that kind of thing. And then they do have a dual piston caliper, which makes sense for a bike like this. If we come up to the levers themselves, these are 2-finger levers. They do offer a little bit of reach adjust. You can see the set screw right down there. Just really easy to actuate, front, rear. Plenty of stopping power for this size wheel. And again, the tires are very unique, just the sizing here. We were looking at this going online and kind of comparing notes and stuff. So these are 60-406, and we look that up. It's 20 by 2.35. That's a pretty wide tire. It's going to give you some a larger contact patch for traction, but I would say that pneumatic kind of float feel, that comfort and a little bit of stability because the contact patch is a little bit wider. The PSI rating is also a little bit lower than before. It's like 35 to 50 PSI, and I love that they've still got that reflective sidewall stripe just to keep you safe, in addition to that nice running light.
This is now, you know, I'd say it's 30-40% less noise. It's also torqueier from the low end, so you can get up those hills. In Corona del Mar or in Newport, you got some steep stuff.
There is some steep stuff here, and yeah, it's amazing the way that it engages too. I think it's measuring your front wheel speed, pedal cadence, and pedal torque. On the website for Gocycle, they just say torque sensor, but it seems smarter than that.
When you open up this whole this clean drive system, there's a logic board in here that's got it looks like a small motherboard for a PC.
Wow. And I love that you've done this. Like, so Mark has all this background experience in the e-bike space since like 2012, and then you've worked at shops that sell these. Coming back to just the drive systems, like what else can you tell me about how this is set up?
So basically, you got the clean drive system. It's technically a two-wheel drive because you're propelling the rear wheels, right? And then you have front. So it's a very measured, very stable platform.
It is noticeably more comfortable, and even this rear thing, this is like a little shock absorber.
It is.
It feels comfortable, way more comfortable than a lot of other folders.
There's an elastomer system in there, and it's a soft tail.
I do have all the folded and unfolded specs back at the website, including standover height and everything. Is the steer adjustable height on this one?
Exactly. So this pinch bolt right here, you undo that and it's telescoping. So on the higher end models, they typically tend to do that, and that's a really awesome feature, to get your fit in line with riding.
Other nice fit and comfort touch points here. We got the ergonomic rubber grips, and it looks like they're kind of locking. We do have a bolt, so they're not going to twist on you too much. I really like the saddle, actually. It was more comfortable, and it doesn't have that like woven texture of the old saddles. And there's even this like rounded grab point, so when you lift the bike, you can grab from there. And then look, there's this other little secret. We've got a little it's like an Allen key that's stored right in there. You can pull that out and do some maintenance on your bike if you need to. I thought that was so cool. Just gotta look at that thing. Isn't that cool? Yeah, we can adjust the seat post here. So you can raise it, you can lower it, and again, with that angle, you're getting a longer reach if you're a taller rider, which just makes sense. Can you show me the kickstand here, how it stows, Mark? This is so cool. Yeah, so you back it up and then it stows forward. That is unique, something you don't really see a whole lot. This is the power button down here. It's got like a little rubber cover, and then the battery charge port has a little cover right here, and you're going through the frame, the alloy portion of the frame, right into the battery. This is one area where it feels like they compromised a bit, because you have to bend down in order to use that toggle switch or plug the charger in, and once it's plugged in, the crank arm can cycle past the cord and kind of get snagged. It's just a little busy right there. It'd be nice if those were higher up on the frame, and they'd probably get a little bit less water and mud as you're riding around as well. We're back at the shop. I was able to grab the charger. You can see it's a little bit larger than the older ones. This is 4 amps, so it's actually faster. You're gonna fill that slightly larger battery quicker, which is wonderful. It doesn't take very long to do. You can get back out there, enjoy your ride. We're looking at the GXi right here, intelligent shifting, very similar build overall, but I noticed that the saddle on this old one, kind of a cloth design versus the more rubberized up here. I mean, they kind of have that same clamshell folding design, and even the colors and stuff look similar, but look at the carbon fiber weave here on the main body. It's easy to sort of mistake the two until you get on it and you actually feel the power of that new motor. It's a little bit quieter. And again, I love the larger tires. You get more air volume, a lower attack angle, a little bit more comfortable. One of the things Gocycle still does not have is bottle cage bosses. It's not clear to me where they would put them to keep the bottle upright and not to compromise the aesthetic of the frame. They do have a ton of accessories, however. They have a rear rack, pannier bags, integrated lights.
They're almost akin to Apple in respect to, like, they have
it's all
fenders.
Very proprietary.
Very proprietary, very expensive, but, really cool because you can get the whole ecosystem.
PS, $5,000 for this bike.
Yes.
USD. It is a lot, but if you want the lightest and the best, again.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that. They seem to be around, though, in North America. You go to a good shop and Gocycle tends to be on the showroom floor.
Absolutely, yeah. So they're in many dealers. Their tech support is really great as well. They have some stateside employees as well that are key contacts of ours, so we can keep in touch, and they can actually do remote diagnostics also.
Oh wow, really?
So through the app, you can actually upload a whole diagnostic packet, and Jeremy over at Gocycle USA can actually analyze it and see if there's any bottom bracket malfunctions in the torque sensing or anything. And so it's a nice thing not to have to bring the bike in always, you know.
And their warranty is really good. I think it's like 3 years frame, 2 years electronics, 1 year comprehensive or something.
They tend to be very reliable. You know, they were designed for the London Underground as a commuter bike. Very wet weather over there. And so here, you know, we're not subjecting it to...
It's a fair weather flyer around here.
Exactly. So, you know, fully enclosed clean drive system. Everything's internalized. There's no external cables. I mean, it's really
no snags.
Designed to be... you know, the funny thing that I'll call out on this too is, like, you know, we've pulled the clean drives apart after like 200-300 miles. On a regular bike, it's rusted chain, it's corroded, it's this. You pull the clean drive off after 300-400 miles and it looks like a brand new chain.
Wow.
Came out of the package.
Wow. So it works. It really works.
It works, absolutely.
Huh. One of the other things I noticed was just the bottom bracket here. It's fairly custom. I don't know if this is like an eccentric bottom bracket for chain tightness. And frankly, if you did get a flat tire on this, I remember reviewing this years ago and I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be a lot of work to take the wheel off and everything. And someone was like, you don't have to take the wheel off.
You do not remove the wheel. So it's a one-sided system. So you just break the bead. You don't have to remove the wheel. Typically you have 2 stays that bolt on, right?
Yes. And at the rear, I think they probably had to redesign this a little bit to accommodate the fatter tires. Do you know if that's the case?
They did. So it looks like the offset on this magnesium injection molded wheel was a little bit more than last year. So definitely to accommodate that, you can tell, you know, right there.
Yeah, that spacing. Good job. Yeah, I was just about to say, that's a big upgrade for me. The last bike I looked at didn't have it. I think this is USB-C, and you've got it right there. It's exciting to think, oh, I could charge my smartphone or, you know, and use GPS, and they actually have a really cool app. I'm not sure how I would mount the phone up here. Maybe they have a proprietary solution for that, but this is not a typical handlebar diameter. We got this crazy screen up here. What does the app offer? Do you know some of that?
So the app is really cool. It's full featured. You can even get into kind of the granular, like, custom power profiles. So you can adjust the graph. It's basically, you know, how much pedal assist you get at different speeds and different effort levels.
Yeah.
So it's almost infinitely adjustable. So we can go in there and we can create our own custom profile or power profile.
Wow.
Name it exactly what they want, you know. And
the Mac Daddy. Well, and it's just set it and forget it, right?
Yeah,
like once you're on there.
Exactly. That's what's cool about it.
There are several adjustments up here, so maybe, you know, going through some of those would be fun. But it's interesting to hear that's so simple, that it's like one, really, you don't have to worry about level of assist.
Yeah, it's great.
Now look at that nice headlight too. So Mark was just double checking. The throttle on this bike doesn't activate until the bike's moving, right? It's kind of a safety feature or something.
You got to have like a couple rotations of the pedal, you know, in order to do it. But it's just a twist back on here, little quarter turn throttle. One thing I will call out is the traction control on that front motor, because it's more torquey. It's really nice, because going up this grade right here, there was a little bit of sand.
Oh yeah.
And it was slipping a bit, but it pulls the power off so you don't actually slip.
I was so wondering what that I read that on their website, and I'm like, traction control. Richard, you know, he's from the car world. I mean, but to see it here.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. I mean, that's from the automotive industry. Like, in order to have the data to do that and have it work and stuff, I mean, they put a lot of love into this bike, clearly. Yeah.
Well, and that was coming back to like the all-wheel drive notion. A lot of your body weight and better traction is in the rear. So traction control makes sense when it's front-wheel drive like this. The other thing we got on the cockpit is you can select the gear here manually. So 1, 2, 3. But it also has like this auto shifting thing. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so it's got like a predictive shift algorithm built into it. So it determines like the wheel speed, the cadence, the torque, and it'll automatically predictively shift, you know, depending on you know, your cadence.
So you don't even have to shift.
So you don't even have to shift.
So it's no pedal assist selector. Yeah. No shifting unless you want to. You can.
Exactly.
And you were telling me the app, you can turn off automatic shifting.
You can shut that off. Some people that live in areas that are very hilly and stuff, you know, we've run into scenarios where it's not quite, you know, it's not an automatic transmission in a car, right?
Yeah.
So you can shut that off and just have the traditional, you know, manual electronic shifting.
That's great. So twist throttle over here once you get going. We got the shifter, and then this blue light here that corresponds to the light on the front. So he's twisting that's like the throttle over there, but he's twisting it forward.
Yep.
And we've got 4 different modes. So we have like low flashing, high, and high flashing. So there's really good awareness. It's kind of a B scene, high up, right where you want it. No rear light built in, but I think they sell aftermarket.
They do. So they sell really nice lighting packages, Supernova lights, rear and front. So you can actually get kind of a bullet shaped light. This is more of a daytime running light, so it's not it's just a beast scene light. It's not really casting light.
And I love they got the little bell built in, so you still got that friendly signal. So coming back to the display panel here, we've got 10 red LEDs over here, and that indicates how full the battery is. I love that they went with 10, it's not 5. You know, these are 10% increments. They're the blue LEDs that talk about that headlight. And then over on the right, that blank space is actually more red LEDs that indicate how fast the bike is going. So when you're riding, you can kind of see that. You don't get an actual readout. You won't know if you're like almost at 20 miles per hour, which is the top speed in North America if you're in the UK or other jurisdictions.
To circle back once too, if you have the Bluetooth app engaged and on your, you know, either in your hand or on the bar, it'll give you instantaneous speed. So you can check all that out.
Now that makes sense. So, and that's back to this little charge port here. Oh, and there's the Night Rider thing. You can see it kind of doing its little dance. Okay guys, I'm gonna do a little ride test here. The first thing I noticed is like when I sit down, it just squishes down. It's so comfortable. That's a really nice feeling. That was the first thing I noticed. Again, it's already set up. I don't have to change assist levels or anything. I'm just gonna start pedaling this way. Yep, there we go. It's going and it's carrying me up this hill. I don't really have it set up right. The seat should be a little bit taller for me to get full leg extension, but I'm getting plenty of support. And this is me applying a little bit more pressure, pedaling a little faster. We are climbing here. And then here's the twist throttle. Oh, and I could hear it spinning out just a little bit before that traction control kicked in. Yeah, I can hear that anytime I go over like a little crack, it kind of jumps for a second. So big fan of that new feature. And I can also hear the automatically shifting internally geared rear hub, that Nexus 3-speed. Depending on the speed the bike is going, it's automatically shifting gears so I can have that nice comfortable cadence. Yeah, very cool. Really smooth on the brakes here. You're just using that front brake on the left side. I'm gonna try to see if we can do no hands. A little bit tippy. Sometimes these folding bikes are a little bit squirrely. I'm kind of doing it. I got a backpack on and everything, but yeah, you know, that's even with the fatter tires now, it's just a little bit squirrely because it is a folding bike. There we go. Yeah, definitely loving that increased air volume on the tires. It adds a lot of forgiveness when I go off. Let's see if I don't want to bottom out here. Let's see what kind of clearance. Hey, it's pretty good clearance. That was one of the things I was looking at back at the website, because a lot of times the smaller wheels, you know, the frame isn't elevated quite as much, but it looks like we could go off this curb no problem. And I'm gonna do some gear shifting here. Very cool, electronic shifting. There's the cockpit. We can see that top speed there now with the red LEDs all lit up. Hey buddy, wanna take a spin?
Sure.
Sweet. Okay, so Mark's just gonna wheel around here, get that third person perspective. Looking good. Oh yeah, that light beam. Love that.
They're so small. No, sorry, we're small. Oh.
But can you do a stoppie on the Gocycle? Oh, nice! That's awesome. The brakes are really good. The brakes are really good. It's pretty comfortable. Can you kind of like go up and down? I want to see that rear shock. Yeah, you see, like the frame has quite a bit of flex. It's nice. It's definitely, this is the nicest iteration I've ever seen.
This bike is incredible.
You enjoying it?
Having ridden all of them and knowing, you know, their shortcomings, this bike hits the mark.
Is it $5,000 nice?
Absolutely, for a discerning customer that wants, you know, that top of the line thing. I mean,
who buys these? You've worked in shops that carry, you know, Gocycle.
So, you know, a lot of aviation, a lot of boating community, people that don't want to buy a rack for their car. You know, they want to throw it in their Tesla,
stow this
maybe
in the back.
2 of them.
Or the frunk.
Drive up, yeah, exactly. It barely fits in a Porsche sometimes.
Oh.
I know that from experience.
Wait, Panamera, or are we talking Carrera?
No, we're talking about just Spider, 911, you know, turbo.
Sweet.
But yeah, you head up to wine country, 2 of them, unfold it, you got full-fledged e-bike.
Yeah.
Really cool, you know, and so this is, I'm impressed.
That's nice to hear you say that. I definitely respect your opinion, Mark. And yeah, looked good on that bike. Thanks. This is a really steep hill, and I'm sitting down. I'm not even getting full leg extension. Oh yeah, there we go. The throttle is helping. And now it's just pure throttle. This is amazing. You know, hub motors do get a mechanical advantage when you have a smaller wheel. Yeah, wow, that traction control. Awesome. That was impressive, man. I went down to the beach.
How quiet is that?
Super quiet and very powerful. Like at first I was just doing pedal assist, and then I added the throttle.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, you hear it slip for a second.
Yeah, right.
But it made it great.
You know, I've heard a lot of people come up on Gocycles with me, and you can hear that whine from a distance. I didn't hear anything with you.
So that was the older ones that you're talking. Yeah. This is noticeably better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ride a little bit more, you guys. So this is full power on the throttle. It's really satisfying. Here's pedaling. It's definitely more nuanced if you pedal. It's not giving you like, it doesn't feel like zippy, overwhelming. And I suppose you could adjust that with the app. Here's the nice heads-up display again. So the throttle doesn't work until you get just a little bit of speed. There it goes, there it goes. Maybe a couple miles per hour. Let's go off a curb here. No problem, no rattling. Just fantastic. Let's see if we can do the hands-free. Whoa, boy. Wow. Just a beautiful sunset. I guess the fog is kind of rolling in.
Oh, dude, this is like some of the best.
Well, guys, we kind of burned the daylight on this one, but we had a ton of fun. This is such a beautiful spot, Mark. I really respect what Gocycle has done. I appreciate that they've got just a whole bunch of options. Some of them still have like the push button throttle, if I'm correct.
Yeah, exactly.
And
that
then,
little red button.
Does this one have like the twist throttle because it's like the eye?
Yes, exactly.
Intelligent?
So the ones that aren't the eye, the ones that are mechanical shifting, they have the little red tag button. That's a discrete throttle.
Is there anything else you want to say about the range? Like, are they all this like G4 now instead of the...
So yeah, everything's moving into the G4, G4i, G4i Plus. The Plus gets like carbon fiber wheels and, you know, some extra oddities that lowers the weight and, you know, just makes it a that top spec like bike.
Yeah. Frankly, there just really isn't anything out there that's like this, that's at this level.
Yep.
And now that they've addressed the motor noise, to me it became a lot more attractive. So I think I agree with you on that. For the full written review on this bike, and you can compare it using a compare tool back at ElectricBikeReview.com. Again, I've measured all the specs and everything. I try my best to be as objective as possible and to get, you know, some expert opinions and some insights. We do have the forums. You can comment there. I love you guys. I hope you have fun out there riding wherever you are, and we'll see you in the next one.